Coming up on All About Android, it's me, Jason Howell. It's a crazy show today. We've got Wynn on Zoom, and then sitting next to me, we've got Ron Richards in the studio, giving a thumbs up sometimes even. We talk about so many things on this episode. We cover a lot of ground. Android 12.1 is out. What is that? Who's getting it? Pixel 6 feature drop. We kind of know who's getting that, but there's still a lot to talk about there. Samsung throttles its flagships, and Geekbench isn't happy about it. New phones on the horizon from OSOM, Nothing, and HTC, and we bid a fondish, I'd say, farewell to Assistant Snapshot, plus your email and a whole lot more next on All About Android.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by IT Pro TV. IT Pro TV has everything you need to level up your IT skills while you enjoy the journey. Visit itpro.tv/allaboutandroid for an additional 30% off all consumer subscriptions for the lifetime of your active subscription when you use code AAA30 at checkout. Hello and welcome to All About Android. This is episode 568, recorded on Tuesday, March 8th. 2022, your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell. It's also your weekly source for the latest people in real life sitting next to me.
Like me, I'm Ron Richards, and I'm here in the studio.
Woo! And also sitting next to me, but dang it, in digital form. Why?
It's me, Wynn Twitdow, and I don't get to be in the studio, but I'm still here.
I wish that you were. Like, there's a space at the table for you, Wynn.
Someday we'll figure that. We'll coordinate that. But we
got to make it happen.
I don't want to make it all about me, but I am here in the studio. I happen to be on the West Coast. It all worked out. We looked up before the show started. The last time I was here was December 2018. So it has been 19, 21, 2... I can't do math. 4 or 5 years.
3.5 years.
Oh my goodness.
Because December 2018,
right, no, my kids are 3. Yeah.
So, about 3-ish.
Yeah. And we also did the math and found out I was here like 5 days before my kids were born. So, which is crazy. So it's been 3 years. So it's been almost exactly a little more than 3 years.
It's always interesting to me to look at moments like that, because in that moment that you were sitting here, you had no idea that your life was about to change in 5 days. Like 5 days later, everything would be different.
And I was well rested.
Yes.
I did things socially. No, it's been great.
I had a social life.
I will say that I was here for a wedding this past weekend. And that's why I'm on the West Coast. And I think I was maybe in California for about an hour before I'm like, I miss my kids. So so I'm definitely looking forward to getting home. But it is so great to be here. It's so great to see Burke. It's so great to see you. It's great to see Wynn like through a TV, like in a bigger screen. Like that's pretty cool. So and I'm excited to be back like old times. So here we are.
That's right.
All right.
We got to get adjusted to it. We were also talking before the show, like there's a certain comfort that actually comes through when you're hosting a show like on the other side of a screen. Like I'm used to being in the studio. And the last couple of years, of course, have been very different. So I've gotten very used to doing the shows on the screen side of things. And it's like I only have one place to look. Like everything I need is on the screen. And then when you get into the studio, it's almost like coming back to it. It's almost like overload.
Yeah.
Because there's just stuff everywhere. It's like, what is distracting me now?
Well, part of it, I mean, admittedly, this travel has been very overwhelming because it was just weird to be out in the world again, and to fly and be in the airport, then be in the city, and like especially because I'm now in the suburbs and I never leave my house, so it's like it's definitely has been a trip all around. So but I'm excited. So it's very cool.
Before we start things off, Wynn, I want to ask you, because you had a pretty awesome experience recently and you have something coming up. Do you want to tell people a little bit about it and what they can expect to see from you?
Yeah. So I also got on, I've been on flights since all this happened, but 2 weeks ago, I actually got on a international flight and went to London for 2.5 days. Don't do that. Take time when you're traveling internationally. But my husband and I hopped over to London for 2.5 days because I got to co-host the Android show this quarter for the Android team. And if you're not familiar with it, the Android show is it's kind of like a Google I/O Hyperlight, like I won't say Splenda because I find it quite fun, delicious, enjoyable, but it's like a super mini version of.
It's almost time for another.
Oh my gosh. That's my voice and Florina's voice. It's basically kind of like sort of marketing, but also educational events, community events that Android does. Actually, last year they had Carrie from Mythbusters. They had Carrie from Mythbusters hosting. Oh my God. They Carrie from Mythbusters hosting, but this year they had a GDE, me, and a Googler, my dear friend Florina, hosting. So I flew out to London to film some stuff, an interview with Rich Miner, who was the co-founder of Android and also now CTO of tablets. We got to kind of talk about some of the new stuff in Android 13. And anyway, there's some recorded bits. There's going to be a live Q&A with the Android team, and that's all happening tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you're interested in Android development and what's new in Android 13 on the dev side, check it out on the Android developers YouTube channel. But yeah, that was my big thing.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And I was just commenting, you did it with Florina, who's been on the show.
Yeah. Episode 443 with Nick Butcher.
Yeah.
This was a couple of years ago, back in October of 2019. We had both of them on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's our London crew. Were they here for I.O.?
It must have been.
Well, that was October.
Was there another event or something?
Oh, I mean, maybe it was Android Dev Summit or ADS.
Yeah, well, we didn't have them in studio. They were both on Skype at the time. So I don't know if they were actually. I can't remember if they were in town for anything in particular. But I had met Nick at I.O. a number of times, and we had talked about making it happen. And then, he said, well, what about Florina also? And so we got to talk to
I remember
both of
that
them.
show. That was great.
Yeah.
One of the things with no I.O. has been finding people to come on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that'll change.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the over-under on I.O. actually happening in person this year?
I don't know.
It's probably going to happen.
I don't know.
Right?
I got invited to like parties at South by, and I was like, what year is it? I was like, where are we? I was like, I'm not going to South by. No. But yeah, so I guess stuff's happening. Maybe they bring back I.O. That'd be nice.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
Well, probably.
Cool. I would definitely come over on that side of the country for that. So
I will say I drove by Moscone West yesterday, and I remembered standing at the window when you guys were at I.O. when I wasn't invited. Open
this door. Yeah. Well, we probably won't have to wait that long before we start hearing about Google I/O.
Yeah, well,
it's March.
No.
We're going to talk about something in the hardware block that might apply to that too. So,
okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. So there's a tease, as they say.
There we go.
So,
all right.
Shall we do it?
Let's do it. Let's jump into news, Burke. Hit that button.
I think we got to send Ron back outside. I still hear the noise. Can you please leave the building and come back in?
Seriously? No, you're kidding.
Can you adjust?
Is it me?
Adjust your mic volume?
Is it me?
It's you.
It might be me.
Anyone who has not watched live would not know that Burke and Ron every week. It's
well, last week got bad because there was some sort of phantom noise that I couldn't hear that you guys heard that was happening with my mic and all stuff like that. I literally brought my mic to give to Burke. To you back.
It's true.
Honestly, Burke, I can say that's probably my favorite news bumper that you've done.
That was pretty good.
There you go.
That was pretty good. Good job.
You're welcome.
You won today. All right, Wynn, you got the top story.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be talking about Android 13 tomorrow for the Android show, but on the All About Android show right now, I'm going to be talking about 12L, except it's no longer 12L or 12L as we have said before. It is now officially Android 12.1, and it will be rolling out to Pixel phones, but strangely enough, not the Pixel 6.
Yeah.
And which is kind of a bummer. So I'm kind of bummed for a couple of reasons. Number one, no Pixel 6, and the fact that they're calling 12L, which is the kind of like intermediary version of Android that was meant for large screens, to just now be a dot release. But that's what you get. And of course, we've I think let me see if we scroll. Actually, if you are interested in what's different in 12L, now 12.1, we can't say 12L anymore. 12L. 9to5 Google did a really great hands-on where they pretty much go through step by step or feature by feature all the new things in 12.1. And kind of, like as is typical of a lot of the releases these days, it's been kind of what 9to5 calls a refinement release, what some of us devs like to call a dot release, and in fact it's 12.1, where it's kind of more just refining things, tweaking a few things. And a lot of it is like UI changes, usability changes, your audio volume screen is a little bit wider, a little bit comfier. I think there's a lot of emphasis and of course around split screen things for tablets, like, making sure that they kind of label things appropriately. Now split screen is now split top, for example, just to kind of give users a little bit more clue on how these different large screen oriented features work. There's a lot of, enhanced haptics, kind of like the other kind of 12 features where it's all about kind of making a more modern interface, making things a little more intuitive, more quick setting tiles, more ways of reaching information more quickly. Like, for example, now if you look at I'm going all over the place, my bad. But if you, for example, look at your at a glance where your clock and your weather are, you can now tap it and directly open to calendar, this kind of thing. So there's a lot of like little tweaks. It feels just like, they did a lot of user testing, they got a lot of feedback and are just kind of making things a little bit easier, a little bit faster. And I mean, it's still strange though, because this is 12L. It was 12L, 12 for large screens, but there's not really any large screens right now that have it on it. Like, usually, as noted in as noted by Ars Technica, a lot of times, kind of like these big releases that are something like the large screens come out with kind of a, coordinated release of a bunch of Google apps, maybe, or at least kind of a rapid succession of, this thing oriented apps or app updates, but we're not going to get that. Mm-hmm. We're not going to get that. 12L is out, but we don't really have any big tablets and big
to show.
But I could see
to showcase it.
So I could see a couple of thoughts here. First, I'm delighted to see the move to 12.1. Because all the stuff you were explaining when sounded like that sounds like a point release.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so like I'm glad that like they got rid of the 12 because the 12L was just weird and whatever. And props to Cousin John in the chat room for saying no 12L for the Sixel, which I like. But that got a laugh from Burke. So good job, Cousin John.
Good one. Very good.
But you're right when like we won't see the results of this on large screens until it starts rolling out, right? And with everybody who's complained about for every Surface Duo or every tablet, which by the way, I have my Lenovo tablet in my bag if you want to see it, Jason, if you want to play with it. Okay. But like it could be like they might be coordinating with all the tablet manufacturers saying, okay, now you're ready to roll out 12.
Yeah.
Like it could have been like, let us get this out and then we'll see a wave of OS updates and we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, like if I get an update for my Lenovo tablet in the next month or so, it's going to be 12L, right? Or 12.1, right? And that will be, better for the tablet. So you're right. Like we're not going to reap the rewards of this at this moment because it's only on phones, but now keep an eye on every tablet manufacturer to see when they do the upgrade from 11. Right.
If when.
I mean,
I'm definitely like, I have two, I'm a little bit, I feel not ambiguous, ambivalent about this because I think part like it just feels like part of like the lack of adoption of tablets has been like the compelling story, like we keep talking about like the big experience is going to drive people to tablets or the killer app or what have you. And kind of, I feel like even as devs, we're very conscious of like consumer perception of these devices. And so I kind of feel like the 12L to 12.1 story is kind of muddying the waters a little bit. Like, again, like I feel like people respond to like big splashes of news, right? So, hey, here's your Samsung S Fold, Book Fold, Z Fold, foldable rollables. And here's like a bunch of cool apps to, go with them and to kind of make a good first impression for whatever this new era of large screen should be. And I feel like I worry that people are going to see this and be like, well, was that no big deal? And then even when the tablets come around, there's going to be a little bit of a dent in possible hype. That being said, as a dev, I get it. And I think it's like I'm complaining about the same thing. It's like I'm going to contradict myself, but I feel like with devs, we've been so resistant to support large screens that there was no way that someone's going to take a beta or a vaguely stable release and, invest a lot of time and resources into large screen experiences. So I kind of get it from that point where, okay, look, devs, it's stable. It's in production. You can get it on your phones minus your Pixel 6. Please do things with it. And then maybe the hope is that if this is kind of low key, maybe around the holiday season when Samsung comes out, some devs will have said, okay, it's production. The APIs or whatever won't like get pulled out from under us like a rug. Let's go ahead and encourage people to do it.
Well, that's what surprises me on that note. Like, and I don't know. I mean, when you're probably closer to this than I am. I definitely know you are. But like, why hasn't the Google developer program done some sort of outreach with key developers to make apps that are enhanced for 12.1 so that you have that big splash? Or maybe they do that, what I think the tablet, I've said this is the year of the tablet, and what I think the shot in the arm that the tablet needs is that when Google does whatever the spring hardware rollout is, whatever, it's like, and here is a new Pixel tablet, or here's a new, we made this OS for the larger thing, we believe in it, and we worked with these developers to make these tablet enhanced apps, like that whole kind of thing. But again, you got to roll out this OS in order to do that. I also don't think they're doing any of that. So
I was going to say, I wonder if that's actually going to happen. That would be great. It would be great. Fantasy land. Yeah. I don't know that I have a whole lot of hope that that's happening, but maybe it will. Yeah. One thing that I noticed, I was kind of like looking through some of the features of this and everything, and one thing that caught my eye, improved compatibility for apps that aren't optimized for larger screens. Google recognizing that, a lot of developers just don't put in the work, to update it, and whatever systems were there before to take that phone app and just scale it up to tablet were insufficient. And I'm sure, I think proof positive of that, we've seen over the years in a number of different ways. But I'm curious to know what you think. When do you trust, or do you believe that a version like this that can take someone's app, a developer's app, where they haven't done optimization around tablets, and do you think a release like this could actually make that better, noticeably better?
I think to some extent, but I really feel like the thing that will make large screens sing is, gear is specifically designed.
No question.
Experiences.
You're right.
So for example, I think I can talk about this. For things like, I think the thing that they keep asking us and presenting to us are things that are only going to be possible on a large screen, like multitasking and split. You can do split screen on a phone, but things that really make sense on a large screen with lots of real estate are split screen and dragging and dropping between screens and things like that. Multitasking.
You mean like Windows?
Yeah, like Windows. Like Windows.
Cool.
So, so the dual, all the dual pane, kind of some of the features in 12.1 that are actually by the way, very well enumerated in 9 to 5's video, which you should look at for the breakdown, because I did a crappy job at it. I almost said a bad word. I think, but the thing that really makes sense, really will make large screen sing, is a enhanced navigation, is dual pane, and making sure that your app works for these things. And to some extent, some of those things might come out the box, but a lot of this is going to take effort.
Yeah.
So yeah. I honestly, when you said that, I'm like, oh, really? Kind of maybe, but I honestly feel like the thing that's going to really make an experience interesting on large screen is taking advantage of these new features, which you're not going to get for free. And we have not, and we're not. I've told people this at work, and I've told people this, anyone who asks me, no, for us, our large screen experience in a lot of places is not great. Is it going to benefit from some of these things? Maybe, but we just don't use the space well. Right. And unfortunately, we've decided that it's not a good ROI for us to do so, but maybe that'll change. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and when you mentioned adapting apps for large screen, I immediately thought of, do you remember when the iPad came out and you could put iOS apps and there was the 2X button and just made it bigger?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
No one wants that.
No one wants that at all. But when, as you were talking about that, I snickered to Jason, because what you were describing sounds a lot like Chrome OS. And I realized, Jason, we got to reset the sign. How many years has it been since we complained about why does Chrome OS exist and Android exist, and why are they going to merge the two, right? I feel like we're in Groundhog's Day, where we just every 2 years we talk about the same topic. But yeah, that's a good point, where a lot of the stuff that Chrome OS has figured out with windowed apps and access and transferring information, and like a desktop operating system.
Oh yeah, you take a look at some of the shots, the screenshots that accompany this official announcement, and in some ways it really looks like Chrome OS, which, to a certain degree kind of makes sense, right? It's all Google. Google has a certain language. They have a certain ethos on how they design these things, so it makes sense. But But again, it goes back to your point. Like those lines continue to kind of merge and get really fuzzy. So
it's really frustrating because we actually did support Chrome OS for a bit, and it's just kind of like this divide and conquer thing that Google sometimes seem to do doesn't work out because it kind of waters down. Like for us, it waters down development efforts, right? So we had a couple people working on the Chrome OS support, and Chrome OS had a lot of bugs for us. Like I think the drag and drop at some point was just completely broken, and so we wasted. I mean, I'll say it. We kind of like spent dev time on it, and we kind of publicized it. So in the process of saying, okay, we're not going to support anymore, then we had to retract functionality. And third, it kind of burned us. Like I will say a lot of people I know who took the time and like did the advocacy within their own companies for this stuff got burned. Like both to just feeling like, hey, I support this thing, and it feels like you just kind of left it out to dry with all these bugs and everything. And so, and that doesn't go away. And now like they're coming back and saying, hey, please do large screens. And again, I see this as someone who really enjoys large screens and wants to do a lot with it. But there's baggage, and it ain't going away. And so I'm really leery about a lot of. I mean, I'm going to talk about large screens tomorrow on the thing that I did. So I'm not trying to sound like a hypocrite here, but there's like the idealistic side. There's like the good work that the team has done to make large screens interesting. But then there's a whole bunch of baggage. And there's also just literally, can you convince people to get there?
How do you undo
time into
what's been done?
Sadly, that whole left out to dry feeling isn't uncommon from Google in the history of Android and doing things where like, we're going to do this. It's really important until we say it's not. Right. And
until we decide it's not. Yeah. Stay tuned for our app section.
Right.
You'll find an example of that.
Oh God. But so it was interesting. So actually, I'll give credit. Scooter X in the chat said that the Pixel 6 will get 12.1 later in March. So there is some sense when it's coming in. But if you have a Pixel 6, don't worry, you're getting some cool stuff because they did time a feature drop with 12.1. So there's a bunch of cool stuff coming to Pixels. Live caption comes to voice calls, which is a big deal for people who might be hard of hearing, which I'm such a fan of their live caption technology. It's awesome. It's English only for right now, but with global availability. So hopefully more will be coming in soon. Live Translate will now support Spanish. For example, a YouTube video from Spanish to English in real time.
That's sweet.
That's sweet. And you got to assume the tensor chip is a part of that, right? To make that happen, right? Like
absolutely.
Real-time translation is just crazy. It wouldn't be a Pixel feature drop without a widget, right? So the at-a-glance widget.
Without a widget that you using?
No. The at-a-glance widget gets new features. Wow. New features, including, hold the phone, battery levels for connected devices.
Yeah,
which
that's
is pretty
actually
cool.
pretty sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, when I've got my earbuds, I want to see what the battery is and that sort of thing. This is very specific to people geographically, but earthquake alerts. Sure, I get it. California, we're here. Disable alarm on a holiday, quote unquote.
I've fallen victim to that so many times recently on our Monday holidays.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I don't have that meeting now.
It's exactly. The kids are awake.
And showing the safety check countdown, which is handy. And coming soon, doorbell camera alerts, bedtime notifications, and workouts, which there it is. There'll be a connected devices battery widget. So if you want a widget to see your battery for your connected device, there it is. And here's the big one, and I think for all the haters out there, improved fingerprint sensor performance. So we'll see if it can. Yeah, Burke just reacted to that one. There it is. We'll see if it can detect our fingerprint faster. And then finally, the bug that intermittently cuts off Wi-Fi for some users is not fixed in this release, unfortunately. So if you're hoping for that, you're going to have to wait a little longer.
But apparently a lot of bugs are
a lot of bugs getting fixed.
This.
And you see the availability. It goes all the way back to the Pixel 3a for a lot of those features. Some of them are Pixel 6 specific, though. The top ones, mainly the live captions and the translations. So good stuff. So Pixel drop. Awesome. Yo. I don't know why. I
feel like between Android 12L betas, between Android 13 beta and Pixel drops. I mean, every episode there's like a new release with a few new things.
It's a good time to be a Pixel owner.
Yeah,
just say that. Yeah, getting the love.
Except the 6. I mean, the 6 kind of is and kind of isn't. It's like here's a little bit, and by the way, you don't get any of that.
Tell me about it.
See?
Oh yeah.
Burke's feeling it. This story blew up. Wow, everybody was talking about Samsung versus Geekbench. We'll call it a saga. Android police I would say they lived up to their name because they did some investigative work.
It really
here.
did.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There was a list that was circulating on Twitter. I had to kind of like pour through this to like kind of put together the timeline and understand it. But to my understanding, there was a list that was circulating on Twitter that said, "Hey, here's a huge list of games that are being throttled on the latest Samsung Galaxy S devices, the most recent ones." And then Max Weinbach from Android Police started doing a bunch of testing and was able to kind of basically spoof the system with certain games to say, all right, here's the game the way the system sees it, and here's the game when we trick it, to not see it that way. And he found out in his testing that in a few cases here, 45% single core performance. So that's a pretty big drop. 28% multi-core performance. Essentially, what was being alleged here is that Samsung was throttling devices in order to run certain games. So it's very specific to certain games. At least Samsung's saying it's just games, but TikTok is one of them. So it's apps as well. Right. And, so everybody's looking at this going, okay, why are they throttling for these apps and these games? GPU performance drops an estimated 54 to 58%. So significant percentage drops in performance. Jeez. You have to imagine Samsung was doing it for a reason.
Right.
Probably.
Why would they?
Extend battery, safety maybe, whatever it is. They want their phones to look good, but in doing so, like, are you harming the performance of the actual app? Geekbench then announced that it's going to delist a number of Samsung's phones as a result. They're saying, we can't trust you, Samsung.
Wow.
And you might remember we talked about this with the OnePlus 9 and the 9 Pro because this happened with them as well. Geekbench booted them as well. Samsung is defending its game optimization service. Like I said, they claim that it only affects games, but independent testing seemed to say otherwise, that there were a lot of apps, and I mean a number of them. And so very curious. Cousin of Ja in chat asks, can we disable this optimization?
That's a great question.
That's one of the kind of snags with this is that no, you can't. Currently you can't. And up until this happened, you didn't even know it existed. And I think that's the crux of what's going on here. I can kind of understand-ish if a device needs to make accommodations to for certain things, but at least inform the user and give the user the ability to opt out of it if they so choose.
You may see, in order for your phone to work properly, you may see affected performance, like some sort of thing like that. Right. Awareness that is happening.
Because this is where I'm really curious how you feel about this, because this is a decision that Samsung and OnePlus, in the other example, is making on behalf of all the developers of the apps that are out there to say, we know how your app runs better on our phone than you do. So therefore, we're going to do this. We're not going to tell anybody about it. The potential is there for someone on the playing side of that game, let's say, to go, this game isn't running properly for me. Wow, this developer sucks. Like, how do you feel about that?
I feel bad about it. I mean, so
don't feel too bad. You're not,
I mean, and not me personally, but so as far as I'm concerned, the performance of your app is a lot on you. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things that make an app run badly are things that are known, that are good practices, that are just like, for example, like, I don't know, even like when I play my favorite like little mobile game, Polytopia, I love you, Polytopia, but for some reason you eat my battery. And I can only guess that it's something to do with some like networking that's happening in the background, some weird syncing. And as much as I love the game, I feel like it's the developer's responsibility to kind of take that feedback and do something with it and make their performance better. I think if the manufacturer is trying to lend you a hand by hamstringing the phone, that's not a solution. That's not a solution. And so I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it as a user or as a developer. Maybe some other devs do, but I don't. And I also believe in transparency for the users. Like, and again, like you said, if there is no transparency, if we don't know what's going on, if users don't know what's going on, they're going to blame us, and we're going to look at ourselves and be like, I don't understand what's going on. And that's actually, deving is hard. I mean, obviously, like sometimes we make mistakes that we shouldn't, and sometimes we make mistakes that we don't realize. And trying to track down performance issues is like a full-time job.
Yeah, it's like a needle in a haystack. It's a needle in a
Yeah.
haystack, right? It
Yeah.
could be one. It could be one reference, or it could be one subroutine that is throwing everything off. I mean,
I saw something on Twitter. I can't remember if it was in relation to this story or a different one. It's something like 2,000 smartphones released last year alone. Like 2,000 Android smartphones.
Yeah.
all those flavors.
And that's what developers are facing as far as like optimizing their app. That just
don't
sounds
say the F word. Don't say
that
the
just
F word.
sounds that sounds really, I don't know, really difficult.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
But so my thought, a couple of thoughts here. One is that when I absolutely agree with you, like. For me, it seems like the Samsung should like generate. These are the list of apps that we think need to be adjusted. Hey, developer, this is what we found. You should, like do like some development outreach. Jason, to your point, make the user aware of it and make it turn onable, turn offable.
Yeah.
But I would like at this point, I think Samsung needs. Oh, sorry, I kicked my mic. Samsung needs some sort of transparency into why they were doing it. We hope it's for battery optimization or for processing, but Samsung puts a whole bunch of crap on that phone.
Yeah.
How do we know they're not doing it to make sure that their Samsung thing doesn't work better?
I
You know what I mean?
considered
Like,
that.
yeah, like are they don't want to sacrifice CPU cycles for software that's not theirs. Oh. That's what worries me about
That's an
this.
interesting thought.
It's kind of BS because so part of this does seem a little on top of the fact that I don't think that's necessary for Samsung to basically scold us like they're not even scolding us. They're basically just kind of like pushing us to like, I don't know, like the safe side of the road. The thing is like with performance, there's plenty of markers and plenty of metrics. And if it's game oriented, then that's a little bit out of my space. I don't know if the tools are different for gaming, but we have plenty of tools and like practices, and there's like third-party companies. There's stuff in the Android store that lets you understand your performance. So I just don't buy it that we're all so hopeless that Samsung feels the need to take our toys away and take our processing power away. Because this is not like 2012, 2011. This is 2022. People understand, people appreciate, like developers appreciate how this works. I don't buy it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be beating it.
It's all
Samsung
sketchy.
yet again.
It's all sketchy.
It's all sketchy.
Yep. It's all sketchy.
Maybe Samsung thinks that if these games are too awesome and their battery might light on fire.
Well, but what's also interesting that they said this is for games only, but like you said, TikTok is one of them. So are they categorizing TikTok as a game?
I don't know.
Which I mean, entertainment. I could see it falling in. Categories are weird and things like that. But also TikTok probably is like one of the most highly used apps on all devices, right? And so I don't know, this whole thing's sketchy. Sketchy.
Interesting.
Sketchy Samsung.
Like
we see you. We see right through you, sketchy Samsung.
I think it's very interesting that Geekbench, which is a pretty well-known, reputable. What is the word that I'm looking for?
Platform outlet,
but benchmarking. So, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Benchmarking, service. Bans Samsung, one of the biggest Android.
And honestly, good for them for holding their own.
Yeah.
And to be a fly in the wall at Samsung HQ, like whoever saw the note and is like, we've been banned. Like, and I imagine them all running into a conference room and figuring out strategy. And
Not Geekbench.
I know.
Oh no.
But clearly, it's enough that they issued a statement. I
mean, people are upset.
Yeah, people.
I had like the Vegas what was it? Was it? This is just me wildly speculating and just talking. Like this may be totally unfair, but it kind of reminded me of that whole thing with Volkswagen where they were like trying to cheat emissions tests.
Totally,
right? So
I think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, and they tweaked it so that when the test is running, they behave.
Yeah,
the test is off. They do whatever they want. So it almost feels like they want their devices to test well and be performant.
Yes,
but they also want to have good battery life and like reduction in heat and all that stuff too. So they're having it both ways.
They're hacking the system. That's what it is.
I think that's a fair comparison.
Not cool.
And not the first time we've heard about it in the Android space, but with Samsung,
Listen, Samsung, you just got labeled sketchy by All About Android. Let's see you issue a statement about that. Sketchy. I want
full screen stamp.
Yeah, I want the stencil, the red. Sketchy.
Right, there we go.
Do we have that? Is that in the budget?
Yeah. Whip that together real quick.
I'll work on that.
Okay.
Sketchy.
All right,
let's like boosh. Yeah,
let's take a break.
All right.
Let's take a breather, calm down a little bit.
Phase the sketch out.
Yeah, just push the sketch away. And we're going to talk about some hardware here in a few minutes. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of this episode of All About Android, and that is IT Pro TV. They are awesome. If you're thinking about getting your CCNA certification, in IT, having your CCNA basically shows that you're knowledgeable in networking fundamentals, also IP services, security fundamentals, automation, programmability. It's essential. IT Pro TV has the classes and skills that you need in everything Cisco. The month of March, and they've been doing this for a while now, they've been taking them, every month, it's like they have a focus, a dedication of that month. And this month's dedication is Cisco at IT Pro TV. You can check out their free weekend, which is March 19th and 20th. And you get some free courses included with that. You get Cisco CCT routing and switching, that's $104.90. You get Cisco CCNA, that's $200-301. Cisco CyberOps Associate, $200-201. Cisco CCNP Enterprise Encore, that's $350-401. Man, so many of these. Cisco CCNP Enterprise NRC exam, $300-410. And I apologize. Some of these I might actually not be pronouncing properly, but hey, I'm doing my best. Cisco CCNP Security Score exam, $350-701. Cisco's CCNP Security SNCF. That's an exam, $300-710. Cisco's Certified DevNet Associate, $200-901. If you can't tell, that's a ton of free courses on the weekend of March 19th through 20th, and a whole lot of Cisco. You can learn and get certified in IT in a way that works with your schedule. It's super entertaining and just amazing. IT Pro TV has 7 studios. They're filming Monday through Friday. Their courses go from the studio to their course library in just 24 hours. And they're going to make sure that you're prepared for your exams. And they have virtual labs and practice tests that help you do it. So you're not just watching passively, you're actually putting it to the test. You will not want to miss IT Pro TV's 2 March webinars as well. So not just the free weekend of March 19th and 20th, you also get a couple of webinars. March 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern is titled Avoid Cisco Exam Traps, the 3 most difficult CCNA objectives. That's hosted by Wes Bryan. March 24th, you can check out Cisco's NAS webinar featuring Anthony Sequeira. Don't forget, there's just so much to check out from IT Pro TV, and you just need to set aside the time and make it happen. You'll be happy you did. Your IT team needs to level up and enjoy the journey, so also you want to check out IT Pro TV's business plan for your team today as well. Visit itpro.tv/allaboutandroid. You'll get an additional 30% off all consumer subscriptions for the lifetime of your active subscription when you use code AAA30. That's itpro.tv/allaboutandroid and use code AAA30 for that additional 30% off of the lifetime of your active subscription. That's IT Pro TV. Build or expand your IT career and enjoy the journey. And we thank IT Pro TV for their support of All About Android. All right. It's time for some hardware. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, it's good to be back in person. I miss Jason and Burke. It's so good to be here. I also, a couple little behind the scenes things. Jason does such an amazing job. And again, I will praise at the altar of Jason. He does an amazing job of setting up the show for us, doing the rundown, picking the shows we're going to do. And he also gives us little notes that are a little kind of stuff like that. And what I like is that for this one, he included a segue as if we were talking about it already, but we're not, because it says, speaking of MWC. Oh. But it's just like, I was like,
I'm sorry.
So like
the order was obviously different.
Sure, yeah. But it's just like I did not pull a Ron Burgundy where I was just like, speaking of MWC, as if we weren't. But hey.
Thank you for letting everyone know.
There you go. But hey, Do you want to talk about Mobile World Congress?
Hey, speaking of
MWC.
There we go.
Also, a little behind the scenes, all about Android secret. One of Jason's favorite hardware manufacturers is the company OSOM, because they spell it a way that you like to say awesome.
Awesome. They're so awesome.
OSOM. Which is could be considered the phoenix rising from the ashes of Essential, but isn't that Nothing? I don't know who there are multiple phoenixes rising from the who bought all the assets of Essential. Didn't Nothing get them?
I think Nothing bought the Essential branding,
right?
I think like the trademark,
something like that. Yeah, but anyway, but Awesome got a whole a piece of it as well. But Awesome was what. You know?
No. Yes, that you're right. When Nothing owns the Essential brand, but Awesome is like
the tech.
Is like the team.
The team that did it. The team that did it.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Why would you want to own the Essential brand? Like, what is the value of that?
I don't know.
What did they pay for that? Do we know what they pay for it? Can you find that out? Can you find that out?
Maybe.
I'm speaking to people who are not here, by the way, just so you know. I like to it's a bigger operation.
Not seeing an amount, just that
they bought it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
the team's on it right now.
Yeah. Can we get Gene on it? Great. Excellent. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think they bought it because in the vibe of Nothing. I guess I'm kind of leaking into the next story a little bit, but in the vibe of Nothing, kind of like stripped down essential things. So I think they bought it in anticipation of being able to use that, but
Yeah. Well, and also Uncle Bick in the chat says it's all about patents, which is probably what it is too.
Right.
That could be too. Yeah.
Anyway,
definitely IP.
So many of the talented people that worked at Essential that aren't horrible people got together and formed Awesome, and they were supposed to show off the phone in Barcelona at Mobile World Congress. It's called the OV1. They were originally planning to release it in Q3 2022, but now they're aiming for Q4 2022 because a quote unquote major chip maker asked them to postpone so they can use the latest chip in the device. That was quote unquote major chip maker.
Yeah.
Awesome will be working with with Qualcomm, but didn't reveal the chip that they're waiting for, which leads us to speculate perhaps it's the follow-up to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1.
Must be because they're kind of
we just saw a USB
have to be
connector?
targeting this as like a premium smartphone. So I imagine
they did, and for video watchers, Burke's going to throw it back up on the screen again. They did reveal the box will have a USB-C cable with a switch to turn it from charging only to data cable only.
Never heard of that before.
That's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
They also claim that the phone will be all about privacy. Just the whole thing's about privacy.
That's the focus.
Yeah, but if we can,
Choice.
for our video viewers, Burke, if we pull back up the shot of the phone, you'll notice the phone that's the cable. Burke is so good at this. The OV1 will have a stainless steel frame, which is pretty cool. Gorilla Glass Invictus front and ceramic back. It's going to be available in white, black, and a third quote unquote fun color, which that's got a wacky color. I have a note about that. I'll say in a second. They'll have dual rear cameras with 48 megapixel and 12 megapixel and a 16 megapixel front camera, UWB support, and it's going to be available for well under $1,000. And now the release date is TBD. So we're gonna have to wait a little longer to see the OV1, but I like the fact that it will be a third fun color, unrelated to phones. But I recently ordered Suicidal Tendencies, the record with Institutionalized, you know that band, right? And I ordered that on vinyl, which I'm a fan of the band, but not like my favorite thing in the world.
It's actually the album Suicidal Tendencies.
Is it? Yeah, it's their first record, right? Mm-hmm. But what got me was that it was available on mystery color vinyl, and I was like, well, I need to know what color it is if it's a mystery, so I bought it. So it hasn't shipped yet. I'll find out.
I'm really curious now.
I mean, with my luck, the mystery color will be black, and it'll just be like a regular record. But I'm hoping it's like a swirl or something like that.
You just never know. Yeah.
I think there should be more. Like I mean, there's a lot of activity in like the collectible space about like blind boxes and blind bags, and you know you're going to buy, but you don't know what color it is.
Right.
I would sign up for a phone where I don't know what color it's going to be. Like if you told me that there was like 8 variations,
you got to live with that thing for
cool
years.
With it. I'm cool with it. Yeah? I bet you people would do it. And then if you do like different quantities and like the red splatter is like limited and like that, then it becomes a collectible.
Totally.
Piece to it. Yeah, this is a great idea. Awesome. If you're listening, So there you go.
That's not necessarily what OSOM is doing.
No.
This
That's
is a
me.
great idea for OSOM to do.
And credit Ron.
Yes, credit Ron.
I mean, listen, how many years have we given Samsung marketing ideas?
I know.
Samsung is sketchy. I'm all about OSOM now. So.
Okay, you're on the OSOM train.
I'm on the OSOM team. There you go. Okay, let's talk about Mobile World Congress.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see that phone. I mean, we saw a little bit of a photo of it, but I would love to see it in person.
Well, so we talk about nothing next? Do you want to talk about nothing?
Let's talk about nothing.
Sure, let's do it.
This whole thing's a show about nothing.
It's a good show. I mean, we can talk about nothing. Nothing's very interesting. So also at MWC, at least allegedly, according to a TechCrunch source, Nothing, which is the company that was founded in 2020 by former OnePlus co-founder Carl Pei. So according to a source at MWC, Carl Pei was showing off what could be possibly the smartphone that Nothing is working on, and that might be announced. Let me see, what did it say? Announced possibly next year. And actually, this just got put in. I think The Verge, according to leaker Evan Blass, something came up on Twitter today where a photo of someone who looks like Carl Pei showing off a phone to a bunch of gentlemen at what looks like possibly a tech smartphone-y type conference with like the lighting and that showed up also on Twitter today. So it sounds like the rumor is that Nothing will be or is in the process of creating their own smartphone, and that it will be announced soon. What? Oh my God!
I think sometime
announcing it next month.
Yeah.
Announcing it next month according to the source. And kind of some more rumors about it is that the smartphone that Nothing is making will kind of be in the spirit of Nothing's kind of philosophy of Nothing. I think basically Carl Pei feels that there's a lot of feature glut in technology right now. And so the idea of Nothing is to strip things back down, not quite to nothing, but kind of in that vein. And the source notes that you'll probably see elements of the design of the company's product, the Ear One Buds, kind of in the design of the smartphone.
So
but
like
yeah,
that transparent quality, which we talked about this a couple of weeks ago because there was there was a story in Android Central that was kind of talking a little bit about it, but I don't know that it was necessarily based on a particular leak. It was more like, we think it's going to happen. Here's a few reasons why. Now we've got a couple of things to kind of point to. And Burke, if you go into the doc underneath the Carl Pei Nothing link that you did show is a link to the Verge article that shows kind of like the close-up.
Which is also like borderline paparazzi sketchy weirdness going on here. Like, I mean, like this is borderline invasion of privacy.
It's a little,
Yeah, I mean,
because where were they? I mean, obviously this was an MWC booth, but were they in an area where they could assume that they were
right? And just to be clear, that's the wrong link, Burke.
Must be. Above the TechCrunch article link is a Verge link.
Below it. In the doc. In the doc.
Yeah.
And to clarify, we were showing the TechCrunch article that had a picture of Carl Pei at an event holding a phone. That is not the phone we're talking about. That was just a photo of Carl Pei. But Burke's going to figure it out, and we're going to look at the invasion of privacy photo here. Like, this is sketchy. This is weird.
Someone totally had that phone at their hip.
Right.
They're like, I don't know. Totally. It is. It really is.
And who knows what he's holding there? Who knows what he's showing them?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of looks like
it looks big. Whatever that is, it looks kind of
maybe
big.
It's a tablet. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. You heard it here first. Nothing's doing a tablet.
Nothing. No tablets.
Based on nothing.
Based on nothing. But yeah, like reportedly, Carl Pei was meeting with like Qualcomm CEOs and just other executives at MWC, showing off a prototype. So I guess we'll know for sure whether next month whether this was an invasion of privacy. It's an invasion of privacy either way, whether their phone comes out or not.
Right.
But yeah, I guess we'll see whether Nothing has something.
Yep.
Does nothing got something?
Yep. Man, never gets old.
It never does. It really, it's a gift that keeps on giving. I will also be interested in the Nothing phone. Like OSOM and Nothing.
For sure.
I will, considering price point and maybe they want us to look at it, maybe not, who knows, we'll see. But these are phones that I'm excited about.
Yeah. So, will you be excited about HTC coming back to the high end?
We did love HTC was a very popular manufacturer on this show. We spent many years touting HTC. Right?
Yeah, they could do no wrong there for a while, and then they did wrong.
Right.
And then we haven't really heard very much about them. Now the news is that HTC is going to announce a high-end smartphone next month. This also comes courtesy. Was this TechCrunch? No, actually, sorry. No, this was not via TechCrunch, but they are expected to announce a high-end smartphone next month. So that means Nothing and HTC both making announcements of some interesting hardware. This is going to be a little different, though.
The thing is that you had me at HTC, and then this is going to lose me.
And
then there's the Metaverse, which is basically this device will be designed with the Metaverse in mind, designed for AR and VR applications. I mean, it should be noted that, HTC in the VR world has the Vive and the Vive brand, the Vivi, whatever you want to call it. And so it's not outside of the realm of believability that HTC would want to kind of focus on aspects around that, especially in the here and now when metaverse as a terminology, as much as I have grown to hate it, it's very kind of now, like everybody's glomming onto that.
There's only one thing worse. There would be only one thing worse. Do you want to guess what the one thing worse would be?
Crypto?
Yes, if there was some sort of crypto angle to it. So thank God there's not. Thank God it's not mining. Oh, God, don't stop.
Oh, wait. No. Let's not pull out that bingo card.
No. Because it's interesting that you mentioned that. Yep. Because the last time HTC did this was back in 2018, and it was the HTC Exodus, and it was a blockchain optimized phone that focused on cryptocurrency. I don't know. I don't even remember the HTC Exodus.
Do we have the sad trombone? Hey, Brad, can we put the sad trombone?
Oh, goodness.
There you go.
Thank you, Phil.
They have the best production unit here at Twit, let me tell you.
It took 5 guys to play the sad trombone and 1 Burke to play the applause.
I mean, I get it that it's a buzzword and like people are interested in all this, and Facebook is attempting to will this into reality. But oh boy, is there a term that isn't even real? I mean, it's not real, period, but it's not even real like yet, that we aren't already sick of the metaverse, right? Like, and like what's awful is that like, and I know it's like, and everybody knows like, but how many years have I been working in comics? And like we've had the metaverse like in science fiction and in comic book for years. So like I'm well past it, and it's just like, oh, tech, leave us alone, please.
Now it's for everyone else.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Well, and also the HTC mentioned that they're going to announce the Vivaverse, goodness, Viveverse, which is its open source metaverse. Jeez, Louise, Viveverse, Viversi. I'm not going to say that correctly. I'm just Viversi. Oh, Viversi. There you go. We'll do that.
There you go. Reverse the Versi. They had released the Vive Flow recently, which was kind of like a stripped down VR system, and it uses a phone as the controller. So maybe this phone will be like designed to work with the Vive Flow. That
is anyone
I don't know
still using the Vive? I literally have not heard the term Vive for VR in years.
I mean, it's still around. Yeah,
that's the one that's PC based, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have one in our basement.
Is it the better one, you say, Burke? Yeah. What do you think, Stephanie? Yeah, she agrees. Okay. She's a PA. So.
Yeah. But this place is just buzzing with people.
Activity. Now that the mandate's gone, it's just
they're coughing on each other over there. I don't know what's going on.
There's lots of make-believe people in the studio.
I think Ron ate something before the show, and now he's
I brought some San Francisco energy to the show. He's I just like the idea of more people. That's not. No, but I have ever since Vive came out, and it was Vive, Oculus, and then you just stopped hearing about Vive, and I still hear about Oculus
because Facebook. Dominates.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, HTC has not. I mean, things have not been good in HTC land, right?
Yeah. Their VR was kind of the thing that was good.
Was like a key selling point.
It was kind of the thing that was working for them.
How much does it cost?
So I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I guess I kind of understand why they would do a phone that's focused on this, if that's the thing that works in their
So the HTC Vive Pro 2 on Dell.com, the headset is $799.
Yeah, it's a premium headset. Well, when you're saying that you have one, is
the Vive?
The Vive?
I have no idea. Yeah, we do. It's my husband's fault.
Oh.
So I have no idea. Yeah.
It's there. So it exists, Ron.
Right,
it is a thing that people have.
I think he did like it more, though. I think he did like it more. I do have an Oculus, actually, because like at our company, we've been trying to, during this whole phase, they've been trying to deal with how we have in-person, how a remote company does the getting together, once a year, so people can be people and socialize and get to know their teammates, but not do that. Yeah. And so we actually have been using Oculi to do virtual meetups.
Cool.
So so we have too many VR headsets or VR anythings in our house.
Well, so on Vive.com, the Vive Pro 2 full kit will cost you $1,399.
Yeah, $1,400.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was voted the best VR headset, though, at the 2021 Games Radar Hardware Awards.
Yeah, I mean,
and the innovation.
HTC is still doing well in the VR department.
Yeah, they're doing.
So to that end, then a smartphone where they play to their strengths
makes sense.
I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. I don't know if there's the kind of crossover there will exist in the way that maybe HTC
Look
hopes.
at this. So if you go to here, Burke, I'll put it in the doc.
Ron's on a Vive hole right now.
I'm in a Vive hole because on Vive.com there's a link to the Viveverse, and I clicked on it, and it says Viveverse Open Metaverse. Ooh. So it's just like.
And just imagine.
Look at this. So Viveverse is a metaverse ecosystem that connects people from all walks of life to an open and accessible virtual world. Through this new form of living, everyone is empowered to explore.
I'll take anything that isn't Facebook.
Please don't interrupt. This is very motivational text. Everyone is empowered to explore, work, and play in a safe environment. Each experience is unique, and your transactions and data are secure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's crazy. They're really leaning into this. And Burke, so your point about anything but Facebook? So.
Absolutely.
Really?
But is metaverse just a word for this now? Because this is open metaverse.
Yep.
So, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, the concept of the metaverse is not Facebook's. Facebook is Meta, and they're gonna build the Facebook metaverse.
They've ruined it.
But like this idea of the metaverse, that Vive is offering an open metaverse. Like there's gonna be competing metaverses. Like honestly, it's like I was saying earlier tonight how like it's Groundhog's Day, like we were talking about Chrome OS, stuff like that. This is Second Life all over again. All of a sudden it's 2004.
Yes, I keep saying that to people.
Yes, it's like Second Life is where we're gonna meet, and you're gonna go on virtual dates. And you're going to play games and and it's all the same rhetoric. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is it going to be the HTC Meta maybe, or the HTC Verse?
No, it's Viveverse. They're calling it Viveverse. That's what they're calling it.
No. I'm thinking the smartphone.
Oh, I think they'll call the smartphone the Viveverse.
The Viveverse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if they're smart, they bribe it. They brand it Vive.
With Vive. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I'll be curious to see.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Well, moving on. I'm exhausted.
Moving off of Mobile World Congress.
Names exhausted.
Here's some rumors coming out of Google camp that kind of upset me. First up, the Pixel 6a and Pixel Watch appeared in carrier inventory system last week, indicating they could be near a release, which is great because I want to get my sister the 6a. And end of May was the latest expected date. However, John Prosser now says they might be delayed after all. Sad trombone, Brad. Google may be once again delaying the Pixel A release on the next Pixel to late July due to the chip shortage. And the Pixel Watch could still be launched in May as originally planned, but could also be delayed also due to the chip storage. And additionally, this inventory system shows the Pixel Watch to have a 32 gigabyte onboard storage, which is a massive amount of storage for a smartwatch. So,
like usually smartwatches have a paltry amount of storage.
Yeah.
Why do you need 32 gigs? Like, that's actually a ton.
I mean, that increases your streaming buffer. That like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that could happen there.
Yeah, you could store it.
Take sketchy photos at MWC of people, showing off prototypes and stuff.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Okay, so I guess we'll still have to wait no matter what. No matter what, we're waiting. Yeah. It's just are we waiting longer or shorter? Don't know. But anyways, we'll look forward to that. All right, we have some app news coming up in just a second. News. But before that, I just want to tell you, you're awesome. All right, it's app news time.
Speaking of apps, I think Jason should develop a motivational you pop your headphones in and Jason tells you you're awesome app. I would totally I think you could
awesome.
But not just for awesome, but it's very. I felt like I was awesome when you did that. So that was
good. Good. If I've helped one person in this world feel awesome, then I've done my part.
You did.
Okay.
Oh boy, I knew this was coming.
Here we go.
Wow.
YouTube Music. Yes, we haven't talked about it in a while. We've actually kind of taken a breather. I've just kind of gotten used to the things that YouTube Music does that I don't really care for. It's my music streaming app, or doesn't do or whatever. Always kind of holding out hope that it's going to get a little bit closer to Google Play Music and do certain things that I really, miss. And this new feature, when I saw the headline for it, and even when I read the articles about it, I was like, oh,
wait, this is what we wanted. Right?
This is one of the things that we really wanted. Yep. So the feature, to my understanding, is basically, if you are on an artist page, it has a new section that says from your library.
Yep.
And the way that I was reading this made me feel like what that is, oh, and by the way, you've uploaded a certain amount of music here. That's in your library, and you're on the, I don't know, Radiohead page or whatever. Down at the bottom, it says from your library. So any of the Radiohead albums that you've uploaded are down there.
Yeah.
But that's not what comes up for me.
Interesting.
And so I don't know if I'm misunderstanding it or what, but when you go into YouTube Music and you go to an album, a new album comes out, and you tap that plus button, you say add to my library, right? Mm-hmm. And that's adding the cloud version of that album to your library so that it appears there. That's all this does. That's all this shows is just those albums by that artist that you've clicked add to my library. It doesn't show any of your uploads. So
they didn't fix it. They
didn't fix it. Even though, I swear I read a couple articles. They're like, yay, we can rejoice. One of those features is back, but it's not.
Because they read the headline.
I think the headline makes it seem like it is. Exactly. But so anyways, I just wonder if anyone that develops YouTube Music actually uses it, because
I don't think so.
Holy cow!
I doubt that they would, but I would love. I forgot his name, but the gentleman we had from Google, the project manager who worked on it, I'd love to have him back on the show to kind of answer for some of this, or at least to talk it through, because I wonder if this has gotten so big that they have gotten, and by so big, trying to make this app do so many things for so many masters, and dealing with the music providers and all this sort of stuff, as well as the YouTube influence and that sort of thing. To your point, they're forgetting the people who just want to listen to music, right? And why? For me, why isn't there a match? I uploaded all that stuff to Google Play Music. Why isn't there press a button and we'll match it to what's in the thing, and now that's in your library, an import?
Yeah.
There's so many things they could have done. It's just frustrating. So
it is frustrating.
I know you're trying to find his name. Dave? Was it Dave from Google?
Yeah, I can't remember.
YouTube Music.
I don't know. There's so many names in our schedule page.
Dave Burke.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, no, so we've had Dave Burke on many times, but he's not from Google Music.
No, he's not. Google's Dave Burke.
Right. He's just on the Android team.
He's just on the Android team? Okay.
Well. Yeah, we've had him on a number of times. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy, though, from YouTube Music. And
remember we had the product manager on.
Yes, we did. But I'm sorry. Apologies to you if you happen to be listening. Person from Google. Anyways.
I'm going to find it.
Okay, you keep searching. I'm bummed. Do you use YouTube Music? Is that your music app of choice, Wynn, or do you use Spotify, or what do you use?
It is my music app. It is not by choice.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair.
Yeah. No, I do use it, and
Brandon Belinsky.
There you go.
Brandon.
Right.
And he was a nice guy.
Yeah,
I like Brandon.
It was a great interview.
We had a lot of people on the show. It was me, you, Flo, and Juan on the show.
And then Brandon. Yeah.
And then Brandon. Yeah. So.
Sorry. Continuing.
Oh no, I'm just saying I use it because I have to.
Right.
But I do agree with you. I think I just keep holding out hope that it's going to one day turn to Google Play Music. And
me too.
Be happy.
Yep, we all do, and it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's the same hope that I hold out for Google to replicate some of Inbox's features, like they said they were going to. Yeah. Did they everyone in the chat room was talking about it, saying Uncle Big saying I still wish they'd list my stuff first, and the thumbnails are way too big.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we all have nitpicks and qualms of why YouTube Music isn't getting the job done for us on a regular basis. And now, what has happened is I've learned how to work around it.
Yeah, yes, totally.
Which is sucks. But,
yeah, I use it. I wish it integrated my library better. If it did that, I'd say 90% of my complaints would be.
Prioritize my library and not because let's be honest though, I'm very curious about the behind the scenes monetization because are they not validating when I upload Sweet Jane by the Velvet Underground from my library, right, from my CD of Reloaded, right? Do they know that is Sweet Jane by Velvet Underground so they can properly monetize on the back end? Or does that only happen with the stuff that's in their system, right? Like honestly, that's probably the big, when I talked about they're serving multiple masters, that's a big master we don't get to hear from because it's business deals and it's, not retribution, but, they don't want people to know exactly.
about that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Not in their business.
Nuts.
Business mind to do that.
Yep.
All right, Ron, you got the next one.
I do got the next one. You got me all riled up talking about YouTube Music. But it's time. And Burke, I was going to do a fake name, but we might want to get taps up for this one. But it is time to say goodbye to Assistant Snapshot.
Oh no!
Sorry.
No.
I mean,
a new Google.
I hardly used you, but oh no. That's a good one.
That's a drum roll. Cool.
It's the closest thing I have, sorry.
A new goodbye announcement appears inside the feature. There's no date set yet for the end of life for Assistant Snapshot. And Snapshot was first announced in 2018. And in many ways, it replicated some of Google Now's best features that we actually loved. And that was it was really nice. But it was buried and forgotten. And now it is being killed dead. But you can still ask your assistant for the updates you find here. We're just not going to proactively show you them. You have to ask it for it. So yeah.
I don't know. I really didn't use Snapshot, and that's not because it wasn't a good feature. Yeah. Google just buried it. It was not nearly as easy. Like the beauty of Google Now was it was right there.
It was
and it told you exactly what you needed to know before you realized you needed to know it. Yeah. And it felt kind of like magical. And of course, this was before anyone was getting super freaked out about, Google, having access to your data and doing smart things with it in order to be proactive on these things. Now people feel a little differently about that. But back then, it was amazing to get all that stuff in my feed in real time. And it was right there.
It showed the power of Assistant, right?
Yes, totally.
And why, I don't know. This seems like a silly thing to get rid of.
And then it got shuffled away into this Snapshot area that was buried inside. It was a feature inside of a feature.
Right.
And kind of did the same thing in some ways, but not entirely. Yeah. But it was it's like everybody forgot about it. I don't know. Did you ever use it, Wynn?
I probably did the same thing with you. I probably heard about the announcement. I used it for a day, thought it was really awesome, and then kind of went back to old habits. So yeah. It's just it's too bad.
Too bad.
Wow. Too bad. So sad.
Too bad.
Sorry to say goodbye.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Yeah, you should write a song about that.
No. It's in my music. It's in my library.
Yeah, you've added it to your library.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the proper thing doesn't show there.
This is what drives me crazy about YouTube. Oh my God. It drives me crazy. The way labels and bands are using streaming services now, like there's a couple of bands that I like, and they're putting out one song to tease an album coming out.
Oh,
but you go to YouTube Music and you see individual releases is, and you click on it, and it's one song. It's like
it appears there as an album, even though it's just a song. And then when the album comes out, the song
they're still
exists,
there, and they're all in the mixed in there.
Yeah, it's
and
so confusing.
It's almost as if YouTube Music was made by engineers with that don't listen to music.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
I think you might be right.
Thank you. That was a good
you might be
That was
right.
a good one. All right.
All right. Coming up next, we have your feedback. That's up next. AAA at twit.tv, 347-SHOW-AAA if you want to leave us a voicemail, but you're probably going to email us, which is what all three of today's emails did. Wynn, you got the first one.
Yeah, so we've got sorry, Jeff. So Jeff Trusty in Salt Lake City, Utah, emailed us to say, just watched the latest AAA episode and seeing the circular camera array design of the new Honor flagship got me thinking. Lots of people put pop sockets on their phones so they can hold them easier. What if phones went to a circular camera array that was in the center of the phone that also functioned kind of like a pop socket? This would allow the camera array to protrude more and give the manufacturer more space for better optical zoom, larger camera sensors, and other components.
That is wacky.
That's pretty,
I appreciate the idea.
I mean, it's a modular phone, right? Like it's kind of like like that would be cool. Like you could.
How could you even do that?
I don't even know.
Like
I hate pop sockets, but
It's like, where would you?
yeah.
With all the camera.
They're popular though.
Yeah, they are very popular. Yeah, no flow storage.
Are they or were they?
They still are. I still see them.
They are.
Yeah.
Because I remember they were a thing, and I don't know. I haven't seen them lately.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know how you do this. Actually,
I don't know
how you would actually pull this off. I mean,
I think the functionality it'll break sooner.
Yeah,
and you don't want to
all that,
do that.
Yeah, the camera hardware like shifting and moving and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate the idea. It's very creative.
It is cool.
But probably not gonna see that. I just don't even know how you pull that off. Who knows? Anything's possible. Maybe Awesome will put out a phone that does this.
I like the creativity, and Jeff, I also like you told us that you're coming in from Salt Lake City, so thank you. Please keep telling us where you're right.
Yeah, we like that.
We like that. We got a bunch of them this week, so thank you.
We like to know.
Yeah,
Mike in Dubai. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, I'm just surprised there aren't more built-in pop sockets by now.
Oh, built-in pop socket.
I mean, honestly, I would judge the manufacturer who builds in a pop socket. I would. I just
don't
would.
judge
Yeah.
people like that. I mean, we all judge people who buy pop socket. I'm just kidding. I actually have a pop socket. So don't judge me. Maybe I really just want this, and I'm feeling Jeff on the pop socketness.
Yeah. But maybe that's exactly the reason, right? Like not everybody does like the pop socket, and if you're the smartphone that releases with a pop socket, you're keeping the RONs out.
I mean, it's definitely targeted marketing to a user group. Like
it works for a certain group,
to children, or kawaii, or like.
How about I can't even defend myself.
I know. I'm sorry. This is now you know. This is the all about Android hazing, right? That Flo went through this. You'll go through it. Right?
Oh dear.
Well, I have a very fancy pop socket now. It's actually a pop socket that's rather than a pop socket. It actually has like an elastic band with a magnet because I'm the dork at the gym that records my workouts, so I can actually have like a little tripod that's magnetic, and it just just goes into the Anyway, that's functional. That's ninja level. That's ninja level pop socket. You just got to get to a certain level, and then you ascend to the pop socket.
Yeah. The Illuminati.
Then it becomes
Illuminati.
Then it becomes cool.
The pop socket.
Pop socket
mafia.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right, let's do the next one.
All right, Mike in Dubai writes in. Wow. Dubai says, hearing Ron talk about Android on his treadmill while watching AAA on my treadmill inspired me to share my setup. I've used a lot of treadmills with Android built in, but always found the setup lacking. Staring down is terrible running posture and noticeably affected my performance. Even my current treadmill with a tablet stand had me looking down to watch Netflix or AAA. Finally, I found a Black Friday deal on Amazon for a 32-inch 720p Insignia TV with built-in Fire TV for $99. plus $15 for a wall mount to let me swing the TV a little closer.
Cool.
And I'm good to go. Look at that. Like, that's awesome.
That's a good setup.
Hey, that's so cool.
It was really the best pandemic investment. Having the Amazon remote lets me control my YouTube queue and turning up the volume. If you find yourself looking down too much while running, think about trying to get a cheap or used TV for that upgrade.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, that's a great setup. It's something I considered. My hardware purchasing is now altered in that I'm no longer buying for myself.
Yeah.
And I'm buying for my wife, who is wonderful and like one of the most brilliant people I know. Not one of us, right? So I'm trying to figure out how to make it as, like, I didn't want to get it because we talked about it. Like, do you want to get a treadmill that you can put a tablet in front of it? I have a tablet. She doesn't have a tablet. So now I need to buy her a tablet.
Yeah.
And then I need to show her how to use the tablet. And then it's a whole nother source of frustration. And so the one I got was the Nordic Track 10 treadmill, which, to your point, Mike, the screen is higher up and actually at eye level, and it does tilt down because my wife is shorter, so she can see it at her eye level, and it's just that much easier. She just taps Netflix and watch Grey's Anatomy and then done. So like,
nice.
But yeah, what's funny is that I got it, I set it up, and then I went on this trip, so I actually haven't used it yet. So I'm looking forward to go home to catch up on TV and actually use it. But yeah, we'll see. And of course, I got it because I couldn't go running in the winter, and now it was like 62 degrees in New York the other day. So like, I'm
now
like, given the option, I'm going to go run outside over running inside. But it's nice.
You'll have plenty of opportunity to use it.
I'm sure. Yes,
Don't worry
it's a
about
good
that.
investment. Good investment.
Yes,
but
indeed.
thank you for sharing that, Mike. That's awesome. We love it when people send photos of their rigs, and thank you for watching the show. By the way, that's really we appreciate you. All right. Well, I'm so excited. Did you do this because I'm here? Or did
Sometimes
okay, great.
you know I do these things.
I'm so excited to not only do it in person, but with our new production crew. I know Brad is really excited about his first one.
Man,
it is
they're
now time.
swirling right now.
Burke,
They're
let him
excited.
press the button. Let him press the button, Burke. Don't hog it.
Okay, it's your turn.
Okay, it's now time for the email of the week. Thank you.
Oh, almost jumped the gun,
Yeah,
Brad.
well,
It's
Brad
okay.
jumps the gun. Burke lags. He's ready. He anticipates. All right, our
eager.
email of the week.
Oh, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay.
Comes from James, who says, of all the Twitch shows, All About Android is baby's favorite. Emoji thumbs up. Gives me some time to work while I leave All About Android in the pop-out player from the Twit site. Look at that. Just thought it'd be fun for the team to enjoy seeing some of your younger viewer base. Time to get ads for hip baby products to really drain my wallet. Joking, but not really. And James, congratulations on your little dude. I assume that's a dude or a little dudette or a little one.
Little human.
Little human being.
Little human.
We're so glad that we are more entertaining than that set of Lord of the Rings figures that you haven't given to the baby yet that we see there in your photo. No, look at that. Yeah, there's a little baby Gandalf.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, they're Pez dispensers. Oh, that's even cooler.
even better.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Love it.
But hey, listen, All About Android is great. It's informative. It's entertaining. It's a babysitter. Like we a little bit of for everybody. But glad you can get some work done and entertain the kid. Start them early. That's what I say for sure. The longer you can delay watching nonsense on YouTube like my kids now do, which is just.
I mean, there's only so much you can do. Ron.
So my daughter found, and she's 3. I don't know how she finds this stuff, but she found, and what it is it's literally like the on YouTube. There's all the like Coco Melon and all this like nonsense animation, and then what happens is that there's the recommended videos, and she looks and says that one, and then she goes to the next one. Somehow she found somebody who like has made elaborate mazes for hamsters to go through, and like they recreate
awesome.
they recreated like boards from Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that, and she's just fascinated by it, which is cute. But also I'm like, don't waste your go outside, don't do this. But whatever. So YouTube's weird. So
YouTube
James,
weird.
keep watching Twit with your kid. That's awesome. Thank you. And for
thank
that,
you,
you
James.
are our email of the week.
Yeah.
Brad's not cutting it. I'm sorry. I had
Brad,
to kick him.
listen,
You've
Brad,
already
that's it, Brad.
fired Brad.
Well,
I've
he's-
had it.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
I've had it with Brad. It was one thing after another with that guy. It was his time to go.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, could you Brad, could you close the door
Yeah.
on the way out
yeah,
so that
yeah.
we don't get any
Oh.
Don't give me that look. Close the door on the way. Okay, thank you. Gotta lay down the law in this place.
I actually, confession time, I did that like 20 plus years ago. I had a gig and we were doing hardware, like we were putting together optical drives, like this kind of thing. And like we get all the parts, we put them together and then ship them to the manufacturer and that sort of thing. This is like back in the 90s. And So there was someone on the other end that I was like working with and responsible for. And whenever we screwed something up, I was like, they'd call me like, hey, the shipment was missing this stuff. I'm like, oh, goddamn, Brad, why? And there was no Brad. Like I would just hold the phone and I would yell at somebody. I'm like, listen, I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to discipline him. It's going to be fine.
Dang it, Brad.
I just needed someone else to blame for my mistakes. Not the most
that work out for you?
It worked out great. It was good.
Did you fire Brad?
Yeah, we got rid
times?
of Brad. Yeah, and then I had to make a new person up, and it was.
And then that person, the person that you were talking to, actually came for a visit. And
know,
was like, hey, where's this Brad? I would love to meet
Brad.
Brad.
At lunch. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Ron.
There's a patented all about Android confession here in the studio.
I always catch you.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Who knew Brad would be mentioned throughout this episode?
He's really had an impact on us.
That could just be the title. Brad.
Brad.
We reached the end of this episode of All About Android. It's been a lot of fun. Awesome having you in the studio.
So good to be here. Love
Yeah.
it.
So from here going forward, you're
I think I will. Like I can do the flight. It'll be no problem.
every
Come in
week.
and just-
Okay.
Yeah, no, I can't.
all right. And we'll get you out here as well. Wynn.
I'm even closer. So if Ron's
totally.
going to come out every week, then
every
I might
single
have to.
week.
Don't
Every
tell
single
Lisa about the budget impact.
Not yet.
Someday we'll figure it out.
We'll ask
get
for
everybody-
forgiveness, not permission.
Honestly, like we should. I mean, when in a perfect world, would you come out for I/O?
Yeah.
So that's probably our best bet. If
Yeah.
I/O ever happens again, oughts to go to I/O and do the show before it or after it or something like that. Or,
yeah.
So let's
I'm so down.
start planning for that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. YouTube or YouTube. Google. Make that happen.
We'll tell you what we really think of YouTube music in person.
Yes.
Oh dear.
I just
they're
wanted
like,
it to be
you're
good.
not
I wanted
invited.
it to be good. I wanted it to be good.
All right. Well, this is the end of the show. Opportunity to talk about anything you guys got going on. Ron, well, you're sitting here, so
Yeah, I was talking to Victor about the hamsters.
Victor's like, where can I find that?
I don't know. He said, Victor says one of my nieces watches the Hamster Maze too, and the whole family is wondering how she found that. I said, yes. How did they find it? So it's so great to be here in person. But you can connect with me virtually. You can go on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm at RonXO, all one word. I don't post as much as I used to, but every now and then I drop a gem. And of course, I'm wearing my awesome Scorbit hoodie. This is the only purple Scorbit hoodie that exists in the world. It's the CEO hoodie that I get to wear.
Nice.
But go to scorbit.io. You can check out all the cool stuff we're doing about connected pinball there, which means connecting pinball machines to the internet, and go to Google Play and download the Scorbit mobile app and go play pinball. It's fun. Check it all out. And if anybody needs anything, tweet at me or email me and I'll help you. So not about your life, just about pinball.
Yeah. Although I'd be curious if you asked him about your life.
I mean, I'll give you my opinion. I'll chime in. I can't do your taxes, but I got a guy. So
You destroy him like you destroyed Brad.
Yeah, well, listen, Brad knows what he did.
Oh, gosh. Poor Brad.
I saw it in his face. He really does know what he did. Thank you, Ron. Awesome having you here. Wynn, what do you want people to know other than your awesome show that's happening tomorrow?
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, So if you're interested at all on kind of even more of the dev side stuff, and we actually have really interesting, less rambly, less kind of tech jargony filled interviews and kind of segments on Android development, watch the Android show. You can catch it live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. On the Android developers YouTube channel, but there will be a VOD, I believe, afterwards. And yeah, that's kind of like the biggest thing. I've been actually I know Jason asked me every week, well, what do you want to talk about? What do you want people to know? And I'm like, I want people to know about this, but I can't talk about it until they release the thing, and they release the thing. So yeah, definitely check out the Android show, especially if you're interested in the dev side of things, and in particular about large screens and Android 13. And you can find me on the internet otherwise at Queen Code Monkey on Instagram and the Twitters.
And congrats on that show, man. That's really cool. I'm going to watch it.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's almost time for another episode of The Android Show.
And it's auto-playing again.
We're bringing the conversation to
We're just going to watch it now, everybody. We're going to co-watch it. Can you commentate it as we watch it?
Yeah,
No, if you ever get the YouTube guy on, please ask him to. They need to get rid of autoplay.
You can turn that off.
Turn it off.
Yeah, I know.
It's a setting. They
there's
got
a
rid of
switch.
autoplay.
No,
You can
You have
change
choice.
I turn it off. It's turned off all the time. Somebody else turns it back on.
Well, that's a Burke problem. That's not a YouTube problem. I mean, it was probably Brad. It's a Brad problem.
It's Brad. Let's put blame
Brad.
where blame goes, okay?
I'm sorry he stepped all over your outro. When?
Oh,
It's
Brad.
okay. Brad, I'm disappointed. And
Don't worry. Brad doesn't work here anymore, okay?
We took care of Brad.
We took care of Brad. He's gone.
Like
I mean, he got
For obvious reasons.
He got a good severance package. Let's not. Brad's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's probably going to get a job at Google.
Exactly, knowing the track record.
I'd really be
He's
sorry.
gonna get what he deserves. Nothing.
No, and then karma will happen, and we'll get what we deserve, and then you everything will be autoplay.
Yes,
forever.
He's going to be like, oh yeah,
watch that.
You don't want autoplay, Burke?
He got a job in the autoplay department at YouTube, and they're like, we're going to get rid of that setting. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely check it out, The Android Show. And that's super
awesome.
cool.
Congrats. Very cool.
Oh, thank you.
Big thanks to Burke. Big no thanks to Brad.
No thanks.
Big thanks to Victor. All of those, at least those two, helping us do this show each and every week. Brad, that's another story. And you can find me on Twitter at Jason Howell. Sometimes I post there, again, like Ron, not a whole lot these days. What can I say? I'm busy. We're all busy these days. And then let's see here. Club Twit is something that you should check out if you like our shows and you don't want to watch the ads that we do. Well, twit.tv/clubtwit. That's where you can go and you get all of our shows and no ads. You also get exclusive Twit Plus podcast feed content. Sometimes we take the pre or post show discussions and put that in the feed. Often Ant Pruitt, who's the community manager, is doing amazing interviews. Mike is doing some interviews coming up here with other Twit staff, like non-host Twit staff. Really cool stuff coming up. So we got a whole lot to look forward to there. And then a members-only Discord channel, all $7 per month. You get all that for $7 a month. So twit.tv/clubtwit. But this show publishes every Tuesday at twit.tv/AAA. So go there, subscribe. Then you don't have to think about it. We do the show live. So if you want to watch, you can go to twit.tv/live, be in the Discord if you're a Club Twit member, be in the IRC. And, sometimes you end up being mentioned on the show, becoming part of the show because you tell us things that we didn't already know. And that's awesome. You become a part of it that way. So we appreciate that and hope to see you next time on All About Android. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Oh, my cable.
Hey, I'm Rod Pyle, editor of Ad Astra magazine, and each week I'm joined by Tarek Malik, the editor-in-chief over at Space.com, in our new This Week in Space podcast. Every Friday, Tarek and I take a deep dive into the stories that define the new space age. What's NASA up to? When will Americans once again set foot on the moon? And how about those samples from the Perseverance rover? When are those coming home? What the heck has Elon Musk done now? In addition to all the latest and greatest in space exploration, we'll take an occasional look at bits of spaceflight history that you probably never heard of, and all with an eye towards having a good time along the way. Check us out on your favorite podcatcher.